This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, two passers-by help a woman and her daughter to safety as fire consumed their restaurant in Kaikorai Valley last night. A Kaka Point dog owner says Clutha District Council dog fees are confusing, discriminatory and unfair. And urban penguins aren't that uncommon according to the Oamaru Blue Penguin Colony. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Two passers-by helped a woman and her daughter to safety as fire consumed their restaurant in Kaikorai Valley last night. The fire at the Satay Station restaurant in Kaikorai Valley Road ripped through the two-storey building, leaving one woman with burns to her hands and the restaurant extensively damaged.
In tears and in shock, but ultimately safe, the owner of a Kaikorai Valley restaurant and her daughter comforted on the side of the road after their premises was engulfed in fire last night. Passers-by Sean Anderson and Hilary Hewitt say they saw smoke coming from the building.
We were just driving past and I saw smoke sort of bellowing out the window and said to Sean to stop, and then I just pulled over. We got to the building and there was two people coming out of it, which were the two people that were inside and only two people.
As Hewitt rang emergency services, Anderson went around the side of the building to a window where flames were bursting out.
There's a guy around there with a hose spraying water on. So I told him there was a couple of gas bottles there, so he sprayed the water on there and went around and turned them off, and then try and come back around and shut the front door, try and stop the airflow coming in.
The woman and her daughter were by then safely out of the building. Hewitt and others bringing blankets and water from a nearby shop to treat burns to the woman's hands. Neighbours at the scene say the restaurant has been owned by the woman for about 2 years, but had only recently been renovated before reopening about 6 or 8 weeks ago. Fire and emergency say the building has suffered extensive damages. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A Kaka Point dog owner says Clutha District Council dog fees are confusing, discriminatory and unfair. Retired teacher Lyle Butterfield lives in a modest crib in the South Otago coastal village with two dogs he describes as his lifelong mates. He's being charged the urban dog fee but believes urban sprawl hasn't hit Kaka Point yet, so his dogs should be classed as rural.
Hoping for a case of the tail wagging the dog. Kaka Point dog owner Lyle Butterfield says the coastal village he lives in, with around 100 permanent residents, can hardly be called an urban area, so he wonders why the Clutha District Council charges the urban dog fee for his two companions.
So I believed I'd be paying a rural fee for non-working dogs. When I went to the City Council, I was informed no, they're urban dogs. Suddenly they've been urbanised.
Butterfield argued with the council that Kaka Point is a rural village and the town's dogs should attract a rural non-working dog fee of $50 each, instead of the $70 urban dog fee.
The rural is $100 actually, $50 per dog. But once they become urbanised, it's $70 per dog, which is $140.
He acknowledges $40 might seem insignificant to many households, but says for a single pensioner, every dollar counts. He says the situation is mirrored in most of the small towns across the district, and he hopes to help other rural dog owners.
Well, I'm not particularly worried about the money at present. OK, it's gone, it's spent, but I'd like to see the other thousands of people in rural areas having a little bit of leeway as well.
Butterfield says his Bichon Retriever Cross Misha and Jack Russell Regia are his lifelong companions.
And there's no doubt about it that with the company, you know, they make you feel a hell of a lot better, that's for sure. You know, they chat, believe it or not. They communicate. And sometimes I think a lot more reliable than people.
Clutha District Council Chief Executive Steve Hill says the fees had been charged this year to make them more equitable, but he says the council will take Mr Butterfield's concerns about the clarity of the fee structure on board. In Kaka Point, the South Today.
Police say an Invercargill boy injured after being struck by a car in central Oamaru on Tuesday was en route from Christchurch to Invercargill with his family. The 3-year-old was airlifted to Dunedin Hospital with serious injuries. Sergeant Tony Woodbridge says the boy remains in the hospital's intensive care unit in a stable condition, but is improving. He says the injuries aren't thought to be life-threatening and police investigations are continuing. Oamaru penguin experts say seeing little blue penguins waddling along this town's streets after dark is perfectly normal. It follows concerns about the welfare of penguins living under a sushi stand in Wellington this week. The Oamaru blue penguin colony says the birds have shown they can survive and even thrive in close proximity to humans.
Checking on the health of little blue penguin chicks in their nesting boxes at Oamaru Blue Penguin Colony. Staff keep a close eye on each chick's weight,
109.
as well as body temperature by using this orange thermometer in the refuge, which is actually an abandoned quarry beside Oamaru Harbour.
The final blasts in the quarry were around the late 60s, early 70s, and then after that it was pretty much abandoned. And they left a lot of, rubbish or equipment or whatever, and the penguins started occupying the site after that.
With about 650 nesting boxes in Oamaru Harbour, the colony's seen a 10% increase in breeding pairs each year. But without the protected area, Dr Agnew says the penguins wouldn't be thriving as they are.
They're really only increasing in numbers here because they're protected. Outside of colonies like this, they tend to decline in numbers because they're not protected from dogs, predators such as ferrets and stoats and rats even, and disturbance is a massive one as well.
Agnew says it's not unusual for penguins to explore outside the confines of the colony, such as Oamaru's seaside streets.
So the birds that are breeding here, most of them will return here when they fledge, but some will go elsewhere and look for sites out of the two protected areas. So they might turn up underneath buildings or within man-made structures anyway.
She says as long as people recognise the birds being wild animals which need to be given their own space, humans and penguins could get along just fine.
And I think it can be managed really well because there's no reason why penguins can't live in an urban environment. They just have to be given space and respect, rather, to be allowed to breed and live without disturbance.
The tourism colony is hoping to break last year's record of 189 breeding pairs at the old quarry site. In Oamaru, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We delve into world politics with this week's Global Insight, so catch you after the break.
You're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer. You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, welcome to Alex Campbell Menswear. We have our 82nd birthday. Yes, we were established in 1937, would you believe? We've got a great deal, 25 to 50% off the lot. Everything's included, knitwear, shirts, bottoms, jackets. All our established brands and our brand new fashion labels.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
25 to 50% off the lot.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects, from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190. When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Welcome back. Otago University International Relations expert Professor Robert Patman says New Zealand's leading politicians need to lift their game on the world stage. In the latest edition of Global Insight, Professor Patman tells ODT features writer Bruce Munro the recent endorsement of Boris Johnson's buffoonery is risky.
Welcome, Robert.
Good morning, Bruce.
Boris and Donald are dominating headlines at the moment. But in the case of Mr Johnson, there's an important link with New Zealand that hasn't been getting much attention. What is that and why is it significant?
Well, first of all, let's contextualise it a little bit. Mr Johnson looks like he's going to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He's in a two-horse race at the moment with Jeremy Hunt, the Foreign Secretary, and it looks like by the early next week he'll become the new Prime Minister. And he has become a controversial figure because of it. He's been associated with Islamophobia. He's likened the burqa, for example, to Muslim women wearing letterboxes or looking like bank robbers. He's demonised the EU leadership. He's compared it with Hitler. And he's basically been less than truthful during the Brexit campaign when he said voting leave would mean that 350 million would automatically be available each week for the National Health Service. None of these allegations have proved to be true. So this person, who has a less than glorious track record, is about to become Prime Minister, it would appear, of the United Kingdom. How does this come about? Well, it probably comes about because 0.1% of the population, which is 160,000 white, rather affluent men, largely, are voting for him. So that's the situation. Now, where's the New Zealand link? Well, the New Zealand link, intriguingly, a few weeks ago, Winston Peters, the Foreign Minister, publicly endorsed Mr Johnson in the race for the position of Prime Minister and thought he described him as charismatic. He thought he would be a popular choice as leader. And that's a potentially risky position for the Foreign Minister to take.
Why haven't Mr Peters' comments elicited much reaction?
I think, well, quite understandably, most people in this country do not follow the intricacies of domestic politics. They're not aware that most British people, according to opinion polls, regard Mr Johnson as a buffoon, an insubstantial figure who's more into demonstrations of faith than demonstrations of capability and competence. The reason it's a bit risky for Mr. Peters is that, and why it hasn't got much coverage, is first of all, I think Mr. Peters was expressing his personal view. It's not the view, I think, shared by the Prime Minister or the Trade Minister. But it's risky because we are engaged in a trade negotiation with the EU, and the EU have made it quite clear they have even less respect for Mr. Johnson than they had for his predecessor, Mrs. May. So, in a sense, given that we're engaged in a free trade agreement with the EU, which is worth over $20 billion, praising Mr. Johnson may be something of a political risk for this country. But I think the other reason it hasn't got too much coverage is because we in New Zealand often rely on our news from some of the mainstream media, and much of the downside of Mr. Johnson's career gets little coverage in the likes of The Sun and the Daily Express, and some of our media draws on that. So some of his darker moments have not been covered in much detail.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Ka kite anō.
After the break on the South Today, 3 fine fowl wanting to rule the Roostedda Rest Home are relieved of their duties. And we have tomorrow's weather for you, so stay with us.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
Hi, welcome to Alice Campbell Menswear. We have our 82nd birthday. Yes, we were established in 1937, would you believe? We've got a great deal, 25 to 50% off the lot. Everything's included, knitwear, shirts, bottoms, jackets. All our established brands and our brand new fashion labels.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
25 to 50% off the lot.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Thanks for staying with us. A Dunedin rest home whose residents have been delighted by the arrival of 3 roosters is now appealing for a permanent abode for the gorgeous big birds. The friendly fowl have even been immortalised at the Leslie Groves Hospital in Waitakere in the form of their footprints embedded in a new concrete path.
Preserved in posterity, the footprints of these 3 Plymouth Rock roosters, a permanent reminder of their presence at Leslie Groves Hospital in Waitakere. Facility manager Max Reid says they came striding into the hospital's grounds about 2 weeks ago.
They sort of arrived one morning and then they've been coming back every morning since then, and nothing, not even concrete trucks and laying a pathway has disturbed them and persuaded them to leave.
He doesn't know where they've come from, but it's thought they may have been dumped somewhere nearby. Reid says they've proved a smash hit with residents, but it seems their nuisance value may be outweighing their novelty.
We'd rather find out where they came from and get them rehoused, because while they're a real pleasure for the residents, they do cause some of the usual problems that wild chickens running around the place cause.
Case in point, on sections of the newly laid concrete path, their large 3-toed footprints have been immortalised.
In the end, they decided rather than having unsuccessfully tried to shoo them away, they may as well make the most of it, and they've made quite a nice little feature out of it, which I think is great.
He says the facility's seeking a permanent home for the plucky trio before they call the SPCA in Dunedin, the South today.
Late this afternoon, the rest home roosters were off to a new home. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. 2 passers-by helped a woman and her daughter to safety as fire consumed their restaurant in Kaikorai Valley last night. A Kaka Point dog owner says Clutha District Council dog fees are confusing, discriminatory and unfair as he's been charged urban fees in a rural area. And penguins visiting towns and cities aren't that uncommon, according to the Oamaru Blue Penguin Colony, who frequently hear the pat of tiny feet. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Phil Somerville, and you've got a fantastic photo there.
From Macrae's mine. They've just mined their 5 millionth ounce of gold. It's been quite something for Dunedin over the last 25 years. Little query for you, here's a little gold bar. What do you think that's worth?
It must be at least, if it's an ounce, is it about 1,500, 2,000?
That gold bar is worth $1 million.
You're kidding me?
No, that's $1 million worth. There's a lot of ounces in that heavy gold bar.
Oh, wow. I thought it was about a pound of butter.
No, that's right. No, gold's a bit heavier than that. A few rings there.
It certainly
yes.
is.
Now, on not so good front, a liquidator's report, interim report about Barry Clue, the financial advisor. Big report on that. News isn't all wonderful there.
No, that's not very good at all.
South Island money for the Provincial Growth Fund, the Southland, plenty of money there, so details of that. Good news in the South Island robin being found around Ross Creek. The halo effect of the eco-sanctuary might be working, and lots of work to deal with the predators. We've of course, details about the All Black team to play Argentina on Sunday morning. Opinion pages, Chris Trott is always very interesting. I thought I'd mention the editorial tomorrow. It's on the position faced by the Otago Polytech and the Southern Institute of Technology. It's looking dire that the government will push through with a centralised model, and that's not good news and disempowers our polytechs in the south. So we'll see what happens in the next week or two here, but hopefully the Labor government will back off the plans that have been leaked and the way that one's heading.
Well, fingers crossed, and it's certainly something that people can start writing about. You can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT, and now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view of some of the survey marks around the former Cadbury factory, ready for the Dunedin Hospital project. And looking at the situation, a cloudy but mostly dry cold day about the Otago coast, but there will be some showers inland and rain on southern coast spreading into Otago tonight. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport expect another wet day and 12 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are also due to have a wet day with a high of 12 degrees for both of you. Moving down to Canterbury, showers and 12 degrees for Kaikoura, and it's also going to be wet. 11 for Christchurch, and it's going to be quite cold in Ashburton where it's due to rain, and it's a single digit high of 8 degrees. To the southern towns, Balclutha, the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can all expect moderate southeasterlies with some rain and a high of 8 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Queenstown and Wanaka are both in for light winds, showers and a high of 7 degrees. Alexandra and Tiana are due for moderate southeasterlies, some rain and looking at a high of 8. Looking at the northern towns, Oamaru and Timaru can expect light northeasterlies, cloud and a high of 10 degrees. Further inland, Amarama and Twizel can expect light winds, showers and a high of 8. In Dunedin, some cloud tonight and an overnight low of 7 degrees. Becoming cloudy tomorrow with light northeasterlies and cold temperatures, looking at a high of 10 and a low of 8. And it's mostly cloudy and cold on Saturday with moderate southwesterlies, a chance of a shower at times. 9 will be the high and 7 the low. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with an overnight low of 7. Cloudy with showers tomorrow with moderate cold southerlies, a high of 9 and a low of 6. And southerly showers are on the table for Saturday with gusty cold southwesterlies, looking at a high of 8 and a low of 6. And that's all for our news this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.